Before we begin, I want you to understand something powerful. Change does not happen someday in the future. It happens in a moment, one decision, one shift in focus, one choice to stop running the old pattern and start creating a new one. Most people wait for motivation. They wait to feel ready. They wait for confidence to show up. But confidence doesn't come first. Commitment does. And commitment is built in the moments when no one is watching, when it would be easier to stay the same than to step forward. Right now, you are standing at a crossroads. You can walk out of this experience inspired for a few hours, or you can walk out transformed because you decided that today is the day you draw a line in the sand. This is not about perfection. This is not about never failing. This is about deciding who you are going to be when life pulls you back toward the old way, because real change isn't loud, it's quiet. It happens in those split seconds when you choose differently. So as you listen, don't just hear these words. Feel them. Let them challenge you. Let them wake you up, because what you are about to step into is not information, it's a decision. And that decision has the power to change the direction of your life starting right now. Listen to me for a moment. Some of you right now are sitting there telling yourself a story. You're saying you're exhausted, you're drained, you don't have the energy to chase your goals, to show up fully in your relationships, to do what your life is asking of you. And I'm here to interrupt that story, because that's all it is, a story. A lie you've been repeating until it feels real. You don't actually lack energy. What you lack is a powerful, compelling focus that pulls you forward with force. Think about it. Have you ever been completely wiped out, barely making it through the day, and then suddenly your phone rings? It's someone you care about with incredible news, or it's the opportunity you've been waiting for. And just like that, the tiredness disappears. You're alert. You're excited. You feel alive. So where did that energy come from? Did you magically get a full night's sleep in a few seconds? Of course not. The energy was already inside you. It always was. What changed was your focus. What changed was the meaning you gave that moment. Your body and your mind are not separate. Your physiology is directly tied to your psychology. When you focus on problems, on what's missing, on what you're afraid might happen, your body responds instantly. Your shoulders collapse. Your breath becomes shallow. You physically shrink your own energy. But the instant you shift your focus to something meaningful, something exciting, something that matters deeply to you, your entire state changes. This is why people who claim they're exhausted suddenly light up when they talk about their passion, their children, or their dreams. Energy was never the issue. Energy is always available. What you focus on determines how you feel, and how you feel determines what you do. If you wake up in the morning and immediately think about everything that's wrong, every bill, every problem, every pressure, you program yourself for exhaustion before the day even begins. But if you wake up and focus on gratitude, on possibility, on who you get to become today, you access a completely different level of power and energy. Now understand, this emotion is not just created in the mind. Motion creates emotion. Your body and your emotions are one system. When someone is depressed, look at their body. They're slouched. Their head is down. Their breathing is shallow. Their movements are slow. But here's the truth most people never learn. You cannot stay depressed if you radically change your physiology. It's impossible. Try it. Stand up. Pull your shoulders back. Take a deep, powerful breath into your body. Clench your fists. Put a big smile on your face and try to feel depressed. You won't be able to. Your body won't allow it. This is the real secret. You are not a victim of your emotions. You are not a passenger in your own life. You can change your state in a moment by changing your body. When fear shows up, don't sit there analyzing it. Move, move. Jump, dance. Do something physical that breaks the pattern. When you feel stuck, go for a walk. When you feel overwhelmed, drop down and do some push-ups. It sounds simple, and it is, but simple doesn't mean easy, and it definitely doesn't mean weak. The reason people stay trapped in low energy states is because they're waiting to feel better before they take action. And that's backwards. You move first, and the emotion follows. You change your body, and your mind has no choice but to follow. That's why athletes move before competition. That's why people dance when they celebrate. Motion doesn't just express emotion. Motion creates emotion. Your life right now is being driven by patterns, automatic programs, not conscious choices. These patterns were formed years ago, maybe decades ago. They're like deep grooves in your brain. Neurological pathways traveled so often they've become highways. And every time you run the same pattern, you reinforce it. You make it stronger, you make it automatic. Change the focus, change the body, break the pattern, and your life changes with it. Think about it for a moment. You already know you shouldn't yell at your kids when you're stressed, yet you do it anyway. You know you shouldn't reach for junk food when emotions hit, but there you are with your hand in the bag. You know you shouldn't grab your phone first thing in the morning and flood your mind with everyone else's priorities, yet you reach for it before your feet even touch the floor. Why does this happen? Because it's a pattern. It's no longer a conscious choice. It's a reflex. Here's what you need to understand. Patterns are not good or bad. They are efficient. Your brain is designed to conserve energy, so it automates whatever it can. The challenge is that many of the patterns you're running today were created in moments of pain, fear, or limitation. Maybe you learned to stay quiet because speaking up once got you punished. Maybe you learned to eat for comfort because food was the only thing that soothed you. Maybe you learned to play small because dreaming big led to disappointment. Those patterns once protected you. They served a purpose. But the real question is this: are they serving you now? Are they helping you build the life you want? Or are they keeping you locked into the life you've always had? And here's the empowering truth. If you created these patterns, you can break them. You can destroy them. You can replace them with patterns that align with who you're committed to becoming. So how do you change a pattern that's been running your life for years? It starts with awareness. You have to catch yourself in the act. You cannot change what you are not aware of. Most people are sleepwalking through their behaviors, running the same patterns dozens of times a day without ever noticing. You have to wake up. You have to become the observer of your own actions. The moment you feel that trigger, that urge to run the old pattern, you stop and you say, there it is. I see you. That moment of awareness is power. That is your opening. The instant you interrupt the pattern, you break the spell. Then you do something completely different, something unexpected, something that jolts your nervous system out of autopilot. If you usually eat when you're stressed, drop down and do jumping jacks. If you usually yell when you're frustrated, whisper. If you usually collapse on the couch when you get home, turn on your favorite song and dance like a maniac. It doesn't matter what you do as long as it is radically different from the old pattern. You're teaching your brain that the old highway is closed. But this is where most people fail. They interrupt the pattern, but they don't replace it. Nature hates a vacuum. If you don't consciously install a new, empowering pattern, your brain will slide right back into the old one. So in that moment of interruption, ask yourself, what would the person I am committed to becoming do right now? What action would move me closer to my goals instead of further away? Then do that action. Do it with certainty. Do it with intensity. And repeat it until the new pattern becomes just as automatic as the old one ever was. Now, let me tell you what really gives people unlimited energy. It's not vitamins. It's not a magic supplement. It's not even 8 hours of sleep, though that helps. What gives people unstoppable energy is having a reason that's bigger than their problems. When your reasons are strong enough, you'll always find a way. When your reasons are weak, you'll always find excuses. Look at a mother working multiple jobs to give her children a better future. Is she tired? Absolutely. Is she exhausted? Without question. But does she quit? Never. Why? Because her reason is greater than her exhaustion. Her love for her children, her vision for their future, her commitment to give them opportunities she never had, those reasons fuel her when logic says she should stop. That is the power of purpose. That is the power of living for something bigger than yourself. Most people try to motivate themselves with rewards and punishments, carrots and sticks. That's external motivation, and it's weak. It fades when things get difficult. What you need is internal drive. You need a compelling future that pulls you forward with such force that obstacles no longer have the power to stop you. When you know your why, when you are absolutely clear about what you are fighting for, everything changes. When you can see it so vividly, you can feel it, taste it, breathe it in, when it matters so deeply that not achieving it hurts more than any sacrifice you'll have to make. That's the moment you become unstoppable. So ask yourself right now, what are you moving toward? Not what are you trying to avoid? Not what are you running away from? What are you running to? What is your vision? What would make you leap out of bed with excitement instead of dragging yourself up with dread? If you don't have a compelling future pulling you forward, You will keep living in your past. You will recycle the same experiences, the same emotions, the same limitations over and over again. But the moment you create a vision that inspires you, that challenges you, that demands you grow into more than you are today, everything shifts. Now let me share something about emotions that can completely free you. Science shows that when you truly feel an emotion fully, it only lasts about 90 seconds in your body. 90 seconds. That's it. The chemical surge rises, peaks, and naturally fades in about a minute and a half. So why do anger, sadness, anxiety, and frustration last for hours, days, or even years? Because you keep re-triggering them. You keep telling yourself the same story. You keep replaying the same mental movie again and again. One of the biggest traps in life is becoming addicted to your own emotional stories. You know exactly what I mean. That movie you play in your head about how you were wronged, how unfair life has been, how unappreciated you are, how hard you've had it. Every time you hit play, you feel the same emotions all over again. You get angry again. You feel hurt again. You become resentful again. Here's the truth you need to hear. That movie is not reality. It's your interpretation of reality. It's the meaning you assign to events that may have happened years ago, yet you're still carrying them as if they happened yesterday. Stop the movie. Seriously, stop it. You are the director. You are the producer. You are the one running the projector. No one is forcing you to keep watching it. People don't stay stuck in negative emotional states because life keeps happening to them. They stay stuck because they keep re-triggering themselves. They wake up and immediately think about their problems. They replay painful conversations. They imagine worst-case scenarios that haven't even happened. They compare themselves to others and feel inadequate. They focus on what they don't have instead of what they do have, and then they wonder why they feel miserable. Your brain is not designed to make you happy. It's designed to help you survive. If you don't consciously guide it, it will scan for threats, problems, and everything that could go wrong. That's why you must become the master of your focus. The moment you catch yourself playing that old movie, stop it. Change the channel. Focus on something you're grateful for. Focus on a moment when you felt strong. Focus on someone you love. Ask a better question. Instead of asking, why does this always happen to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of, why don't they appreciate me? Ask, how can I add more value? The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask, because questions shape your focus, and your focus shapes how you feel. Listen to me carefully, because this may be the most important thing you hear today. The quality of your life is the quality of your emotional states, not your circumstances. Not how much money you make, not what car you drive, not where you live. Those things matter, but they don't decide how you feel. You've seen people who have everything and are miserable, and people who have very little and are joyful. The difference is state management. When you master your state, you master your life. Your state controls what you focus on. Your state determines the actions you take or avoid. Your state shapes how you show up in your relationships, your career, and every area of your life. When you're in a powerful state, you see opportunities everywhere. You feel confident. You take bold action. You naturally attract people to you. That is the power you already have once you learn how to use it. When you are in a weak state, you see obstacles everywhere. You feel uncertain. You hesitate. You procrastinate. You pull back from people instead of leaning in. Same person, same circumstances, completely different outcomes, all determined by state. And here's the empowering truth. You can change your state in an instant. You don't have to wait for life to change. You don't have to wait until you hit a goal. You don't have to wait for someone else to lift you up. You can shift it right now by changing what you focus on and how you use your body. Your brain is the most sophisticated, powerful piece of machinery on this planet. There is nothing that compares to the computational power, the creativity, the problem-solving capacity of the human brain. But here's what most people never realize. Your brain is an incredible servant and a terrible master. If you let your brain run your life, it will run you into the ground. It will obsess over problems. It will replay old trauma. It will predict disaster before it ever happens. It will keep you small, safe, and stuck. Why does it do that? Because thousands of years ago, survival was the only priority. Your brain's primary job has never been to make you happy, fulfilled, or successful. Its job is to keep you alive. So it constantly scans for danger, for threats, for reasons to be afraid. It tries to protect you by keeping you in your comfort zone, by avoiding risk, by convincing you that what you've always done is safer than what you could do. But in today's world, that survival instinct is no longer protecting you, it's limiting you. The threats aren't wild animals anymore. The real threats are mediocrity, unrealized potential, and a life never fully lived. And if you don't take control, your brain will talk you into playing it safe every single time. That's why you must take charge. You have to become the master of your brain instead of letting it master you. And you do that by consciously directing your focus. Your brain will focus on whatever you tell it to focus on. If you don't give it direction, it defaults to the negative because that's its programming. But you can override that program right now. You can ask empowering questions instead of disempowering ones. You can look for solutions instead of obsessing over problems. You can focus on what you can control instead of what you can't. You can direct your attention to what's working instead of what's missing. This isn't about denying reality or pretending problems don't exist. This is about being strategic with your mental energy. When you focus on a problem without seeking a solution, you're not being realistic, you're being destructive. You train your brain to see yourself as a victim, as someone life happens to instead of someone who makes things happen. But when you train your brain to look for opportunity, for lessons, for growth, for action, you reclaim your power. You become the creator of your life instead of a consumer of circumstances. Here's another truth you need to understand. Your brain believes whatever you tell it consistently. If you tell yourself every day that you're not good enough, your brain will prove it to you. If you tell yourself you're unlucky, it will show you evidence everywhere. If you tell yourself you can't do something, it will shut down your creativity. But if you tell yourself with certainty that you can figure it out, that you are resourceful, that you are capable, that you are growing stronger every day, your brain will work tirelessly to make that belief real. It doesn't care whether the story is true. It only cares that it's consistent. That's why you must be extremely careful with the stories you tell yourself. Those stories become your reality. Most people don't even realize they're running a negative soundtrack in their head all day long, telling themselves they're not smart enough, not attractive enough, not talented enough, and then they wonder why their life feels stuck. You would never allow someone to follow you around all day criticizing you, tearing you down, predicting your failure. So why do you allow that voice inside your own head to do it? Fire that voice. Replace it. Become your own coach. Become your own strongest supporter. Become the voice that challenges you, believes in you, and reminds you of who you are capable of becoming. Because when you change the voice in your head, you change your state, and when you change your state, you change your life. Now let me challenge you, because this is where real transformation actually begins. I want you to think right now about one pattern you are going to break today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when things calm down or when you feel more ready. Today, right now. What is one pattern, deep down you absolutely know is not serving you? Maybe it's hitting the snooze button over and over every morning and starting your day already behind. Maybe it's checking social media when you should be working and then beating yourself up for wasting time. Maybe it's saying yes when you mean no and quietly resenting people for it. Maybe it's eating junk when you're stressed and then feeling disgusted with yourself afterward. Maybe it's avoiding difficult conversations and letting resentment poison your relationships. Or maybe it's playing small, staying quiet, hiding your gifts because you're afraid of what people might think. Whatever it is, see it clearly right now. Don't hide from it. Don't minimize it. Don't tell yourself it's not a big deal. Look it straight in the eye and ask yourself, how long have I been running this pattern? 1 year? 5 years? 20 years? And what has it cost me? What opportunities have I missed because of it? What relationships have suffered? What dreams have I delayed or abandoned? What version of myself have I failed to become because I keep running the same program again and again? Feel that. Feel the weight of what this pattern has taken from you. Feel the frustration. Feel the disappointment. Feel the regret, not to punish yourself, but to create leverage. Because until the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of changing, nothing will change. You'll keep talking about change. You'll keep thinking about it. You'll keep wishing things were different. But you won't do anything different. So right now, draw a line in the sand. Make a decision that this pattern ends today. Not that you'll try to change it. Not that you hope it improves. That it ends. Period. You are done. You are finished with it. It no longer serves you, and you are no longer available for it. Now, let me bring this all together because this is the moment of truth. Everything I've shared means absolutely nothing if you don't apply it. Information without execution is just entertainment. And you didn't come here to be entertained. You came here to transform. You came here to break through. You came here to finally become the person you know you're capable of being. So let's talk about what happens next. Let's talk about what you do when you walk out into the real world and life hits you in the face, because it will. Life doesn't stop throwing challenges at you just because you had a breakthrough moment. Life doesn't care that you feel motivated right now. What life responds to is what you do consistently, not occasionally. What you do when no one is watching. What you do when you don't feel like it. What you do when the excitement fades and the same old triggers, temptations, and patterns try to pull you back. Here's what I know about human beings. We are not shaped by what we do once in a while. We are shaped by what we do consistently. You don't get healthy by eating one salad. You don't build wealth by saving money one time. You don't create fulfillment from one meaningful conversation. You create these results through daily rituals, through habits, through patterns that support your vision instead of sabotaging it. So the question is not whether you can change. Of course you can. The real question is, will you do the work? Because change requires discomfort. Change requires action before you feel ready. Change requires you to keep going when every part of you wants to quit and retreat to what's familiar. Here's what's going to happen in the next 24 hours. You'll leave here feeling energized, focused, and empowered. You'll feel like anything is possible, and it is. But then you'll go home. Someone will say something that triggers you. You'll look at your bank account and feel stress. You'll look in the mirror and feel disappointed. And in that moment, you will face a choice. Will you run the old pattern, or will you become the person you decided to be? So the real question is this: are you going to remember what you learned here today and do something different, or are you going to slip back into the old way? That moment, that split second when you feel the pull of the old pattern, that's the moment that reveals who you really are. That's when you find out whether you're serious about change or whether you were just caught up in the emotion of the moment. And let me be honest with you. You are going to fail sometimes. You will slip up. You will catch yourself running the old pattern before you even realize what's happening. And when that happens, most people turn on themselves. They say, see, I knew it. I can't change. This never lasts. I'm just not that kind of person. That is nonsense. That's the old story fighting to survive. The difference between people who truly transform their lives and those who don't is not that successful people never fail. It's that they don't let failure define who they are. They see it as feedback, not failure. They adjust, they learn, and they keep moving forward. They don't abandon themselves because of one bad moment, one bad day, or even one bad week. So here's what I want you to commit to right now. Commit to the long game, not just when it's easy, not just when you feel inspired, especially when it's hard, especially when you're tired, especially when you're scared, because that's when it matters most. That's when you're building the new pattern. That's when you're rewiring your brain. That's when you're becoming someone new. Every time the old pattern shows up and you consciously choose to do something different, you are literally creating new neural pathways. You are teaching your brain that there is another way. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. The more you do it, the more automatic the new pattern gets, until one day you realize you're not even thinking about the old way anymore. You've become someone who naturally chooses the empowering action instead of the disempowering one. Now let's talk about your energy, because this is critical. You now understand that your energy is not determined by your circumstances. It's determined by your focus and your physiology. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, what are you going to focus on? Are you going to grab your phone and immediately fill your mind with other people's problems, opinions, and agendas? Or are you going to take 10 minutes to prime yourself for greatness? Are you going to move your body, flood your mind with gratitude, visualize your goals, and set a clear intention for the day? Those 10 minutes will shape the quality of your entire day. They will determine whether you operate from a powerful state or a weak one. They will determine whether you respond to life or react to it. And let me be very clear. You don't need more time. You don't need perfect circumstances. You don't need everything figured out. You need to start now with what you have. Take one action today that moves you closer to the life you want. Just one. It doesn't have to be big. In fact, small is better. Small actions done consistently create massive results. Maybe it's doing a few push-ups instead of collapsing on the couch. Maybe it's calling someone you love instead of scrolling mindlessly. Maybe it's writing down a few things you're grateful for before you go to sleep. Maybe it's speaking up instead of staying silent. Whatever it is, do it. Then do it again tomorrow. And watch what happens when you start stacking wins. When you prove to yourself that you are someone who follows through, someone who keeps their word to themselves. Because here's the truth most people don't want to hear: no one is coming to save you. Not your partner, not your parents, not your boss, not a guru, not a miracle solution. You are the one who has to decide that your life matters enough to fight for it. You are the one who has to decide that your dreams matter enough to work for them. You are the one who has to decide that you matter enough to become the best version of yourself. And I want you to hear this clearly. You do matter. Your life matters. What you do with it matters. The impact you can have matters. But you have to believe that first. You have to know it with absolute certainty. And then you have to back that belief with action, with commitment, with consistency, with faith in yourself, even when no one else believes in you. So as you walk away from this moment, carry this with you. You already have everything you need to start creating the life you want. You have the power to change your state in an instant. You have the power to break any pattern. You have the power to direct your focus. You have the power to tap into unlimited energy. The only question is whether you will use that power or waste it. The choice is yours, and the time is now. So as you step forward from this moment, remember this: nothing changes unless you change what you do. Insight without action is powerless. Emotion without follow-through fades. What transforms a life is the decision to act again and again, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient, even when no one is applauding you. This is where identity is forged. This is where you stop hoping and start becoming. You don't need to be fearless. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be committed. Committed to showing up. Committed to choosing the empowering response over the familiar one. Committed to keeping your word to yourself when it would be easier to break it. Because every time you do, you strengthen the muscle of certainty. And certainty, more than talent, more than resources, more than luck, is what shapes destiny. Understand this deeply: the quality of your life is the quality of your state, and your state is something you control. You can change it in an instant through your focus, your body, and the meaning you give to what happens. When you take ownership of that, you stop living at the effect of life, and you start living at the cause. So decide today that you are done negotiating with your potential. Decide that you are done waiting for permission. Decide that you will use what you have, where you are, to create something extraordinary. Because the power you've been searching for is not out there. It's already within you. And if you choose to use it consistently, relentlessly, with heart, you will look back one day and realize this was the moment everything changed.